everyone. We have 7 different platforms worldwide right now that we're speaking on. And we can't mention all of them, at least not until the very end, because algorithms pick us up, and what they do is they prevent us from being distributed. So we can't mention everyone, but we'd like to welcome everyone. And aloha from Hawaii. So negative emotions. Okay, we're going to talk about positive frequencies, negative emotions, and positive emotions. So at the very top is love. Hi, Jay. Good morning. At the very top is love. Okay. Now, coming down from love, okay, working your way down. Love, peace, gratitude, joy, passion, excitement, enthusiasm, hope, and satisfaction at the very bottom. Okay. So satisfaction is the start of positive emotions, the very beginnings of positive emotions. Okay, now let's go to the lower vibrations or the lower emotions. Now, depending on what your emotion is, that dictates your vibration. So we go from worry, okay, that's the first one. When you start worrying, okay, that's when you're beginning to enter the negative emotions. Okay, so it goes worry, worry, irritation, disappointment, criticism, anger, hate, boredom, envy, despair, grief, guilt, shame, and fear at the bottom. So the very most positive is love. The very most negative, way down here, is fear. Okay? Now, what about the individual emotions that we get the most often? What about resentment? Okay, so resentment is subtle anger. So it's really, really, kind of far down there on the scale. Okay, when you're resenting something, you're angry with it, you're upset with it, it irritates you, okay? But resentment allows other people or situations to control you. If you're resentful, things are controlling you. Why? Because it's making you angry. Because it has the power to make you angry. Therefore, you're engaged with it. It's engaged with you. If something is engaged with you, guess what happens? It can do this. It can pull you around. It can pull you down. Okay? That kind of stuff. It can affect you, is what I'm saying. All right. Now, what about what else about resentment do we need to know? Well, when you resent and you react, you lose your calm. Okay? Or you lose your composure. And then what? Well, that's the power that it has over you. Resentment is what makes you sensitive to being manipulated by the outside world. Okay, I'll say it again. Resentment is what makes you sensitive to being manipulated by the outside world. Okay, think about that for a second. Now, judgment, that's another thing we do all the time, right? We all judge, okay? Here, guilty, right? All of us. Why? Because we judge when we visually see something, we judge, right? Oh, that's that kind of person. Oh, that's that kind of person. Oh, that kind of thing. Oh, that's for that. That's for this, right? So immediately when we see something, we judge it, okay? It's a natural thing that happens, right? But now when you pronounce judgment onto something, okay, that's a little bit different. Okay, when you see something, you're assuming. Okay, you haven't really judged yet. It's a form of judgment, but you're assuming that this is like this. You're assuming that someone is like that. If you see someone in a Starbucks and they're like this, they could be angry, right? They could look like this. They could be angry, or they could be concentrating really hard on something, right? Sometimes, I stand in a store. I was standing in the store years ago, and I was focused on something, so I kind of looked like this. And I was concentrating on something, and I was just standing by the escalator. And this lady came up, and she said, "Boy, you look angry." And I broke my concentration, and I was like, "What?" She thought I was angry. And I thought, something was wrong with her. And I'm like, "No, dude, you're concentrating. You don't look happy when you're concentrating." So there's that, okay? So judgment, right? When you judge while you're resentful, guess what happens? You become guilty. You become guilty afterwards. And why? Well, what happens? Because harsh judgment cuts you off from understanding. That's why. When you judge something, you're cutting yourself off, you're severing yourself from understanding. So if you don't judge, you don't have to forgive. Okay, if you judge, then forgiveness is necessary. So to avoid all of that, learn to be the observer. We were talking about that yesterday. Good morning, Gregory. Good morning, Hershey. Good morning, Annex. What are the fastest ways to get rid of these things? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. It's the fastest way to manifest things. Why? Because when you're going through resentment, when you're going through judgment, either judging or being judged, it's no fun being judged, right? You're being misunderstood. If you're judging, you're not understanding. Okay, now when we prejudge, when we judge ahead of time, in other words, judging with no evidence, that's prejudice, right? Because we're assuming. So most of us have that when we assume, right? We're judging ahead of time. Oh, he looks like that kind of person, or she looks like that kind of woman, or that looks like that kind of thing. And we haven't yet any data on it, for lack of a better term. Information, data. So what happens in that situation? Well, we need to collect data first, right? Then make a determination, and then make a judgment on it. Now, judgment is not always wrong, right? Judgment is good, okay? Discernment, of course, better. But judgment in the negative requires forgiveness because of the misunderstanding, when the misunderstanding occurs. Okay. Now, forgiveness, right? Forgiveness is important, but forgiveness is for yourself. You forgive others so that you free yourself. Because if not, then it's like this again. It's like this again. Okay? Because energetically you join. It may be a new thing for you. You may not have been familiar with this. You may not have heard of this before. But energetically we join. First, you get distracted into something. Your eyes pull you into something. Your eyes pull you into different realities. First you see something, then you start thinking about it. Then you form a belief. A belief is a thought you keep thinking in your subconscious. Then your subconscious begins to show you proof of that. Proof of the belief. Well, it has to be true because of this. It has to be true because of that. It will back up the belief. It will support the belief. Then the superconscious gives you intuitive thought and creates the path out of the belief. Because your life unfolds like this. Your life doesn't happen like this. It doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. You weren't born to suffer. If you're suffering, it's because the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious are out of alignment. So how do you align these things? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. There is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. That's it. If you believe in God, God is the superconscious. If you don't believe in God, then that could be source, it could be the universe, it could be however you want to say it. Okay, but it's in everyone, it's in everybody. Everybody has this power, or this ability, or this gift, if you want to put it that way. And the reason I teach this way, and even to my clients, the reason that I teach these things this way, is because I teach in variables. Because everybody's different. Everybody's perception is different. Everybody believes differently. And Einstein said, if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it. And understanding is very important, because without understanding, when we assume, without understanding. Or let's say it another way, when we make a determination without evidence, then we end up having to forgive because of that judgment. So it's very important, because then, if you're not judging, there's nothing to forgive. Okay, forgiveness is needed when you become resentful and judgmental, because it binds you. It actually binds you through your subconscious. When you're passing judgment on somebody, or you're speaking judgment on someone, projecting it onto someone, your subconscious is listening. Your subconscious is not aware whether you're pronouncing judgment on someone else or if you're doing it to yourself. Your subconscious does not know if you're doing it to you or if you're doing it to someone else. It has no way of knowing. Your subconscious is an order taker. It takes orders. It's like you're in the military, you're the commander, your subconscious is the subordinate. It takes orders. So the next time you get a bill, write on your bill, "Thank you for the money." Because your subconscious is not aware. It cannot distinguish between a bill or a gift, or a bill and a check, or money going in and money coming out. And when you play these little games, you're going to get huge results, because it's perception. You can either have a positive perception or a negative perception. You can either look at something and go, "Oh, this is probably that kind of scenario," in a negative way, or you could probably switch that thinking, right? And then you can go, "Oh, this might lead to that. This might lead to my big break. This might lead to..." I did that for years. I questioned it all the time. Is this my big break? Is that my big break? Is that my big break? And I can't even tell you how many times I was let down. And this was when I was doing, the entertainment business, and I was still teaching. I was teaching on the side. So I'm not an entertainer who became a teacher. I'm a teacher who became an entertainer. But that was for me. That was so I could have fun, so I could entertain people, so I could, do what I learned, that kind of thing. But what I'm trying to illustrate is, if you do that, if you expect, like, "Oh, something good's just around the corner, something good's just about to happen, I know that this is going to turn into something good," right? And for me, it was like, yeah, is this the big break? Is that the big break? Is this my break? Is that my break? And guess what happened? The break happened. And it took me 3 days for it to sink in. And on the third day, the superconscious was giving me intuitive thought. The belief was already in the subconscious. The break is coming, the break is coming, the break is coming, right? And I was like, where's this gonna come from? Where's this? So I was looking. In the Bible, it says, "Seek and ye shall find." In the Bhagavad Gita, it says it a little differently. In the Quran, it says it a little differently. In the Torah, it says it a little differently. But they all mean the same thing, and they all point towards the same thing. They point towards a kingdom, which is within. The kingdom is within, it's not out there. God's kingdom is not in the sky. God's kingdom is not down the street. God's kingdom is not on the other side of the world. It's right in here. And you have access to it. There is no external savior. I'll say it again. There is no external savior. There is an internal one in here. That's what Jesus was trying to tell you. That's what Gautama Buddha was trying to tell you. That's what Krishna was trying to tell you. So in different ages, we have these different people that all say the same thing. So in my teaching, I teach high performance individuals. These people are business people. In fact, yesterday I had a huge success. Huge success. In fact, I was still talking about it this morning. I was still talking about it this morning. I was so happy. I was so happy for this guy. He's my client. And a very, very highly intelligent man. So the people that I work with are very, very intelligent. They have degrees, they have careers, they have. Okay. And sometimes the most important thing a human being needs is inspiration. Human beings don't need handouts. That's why they have that old expression, right? If I give you a fish, you can eat dinner. If I teach you to fish, you can eat for a lifetime. People need to be taught to fish. They don't need handouts. If you give someone $100 and they go have a steak dinner, then the $100 is gone. Now what? You see? Now what? But if you teach someone how to make $100, if you teach someone, if you look at someone's strengths and go, hey, you know what? I see a lot in you. Here's your strengths, and you show them. And then you give them inspiration to use their strengths. And pretty soon they go, yeah, you know what? I can do that. I've been doing that for 36 years. I've been doing it for 36 years, showing people, just by observation, analyzing. It's not hard to do. The universal law of correspondence says that everything in here is displayed out here. Everything in you is displayed around you. Look at your surroundings. What kind of clothes are you wearing? What kind of house are you living in? What kind of condition is the house? What kind of condition is your desk at work? What does it look like? That's what you are in here. It's not very hard to observe a person and go, okay, I know exactly what this person is like. You don't have to know their history. You don't have to know what they do for a living. You don't have to. You have to know how to observe. And then you have to learn to notice what their strengths are, what their natural gifts are, what they have a tendency to speak. How a person speaks is generally how they feel. If you're talking to someone and they're not speaking well about themselves, guess what? Low self-esteem. How can you help? Well, identify the positive things and focus on that. So this guy years ago stands in my office. I had an office for 24 years, right up until the pandemic. Then we decided to teach online. And he came to my office, and he was one of my clients, and he said, I need to know what I'm doing wrong. And I said, why? He said, so I can fix it. And I said, that's not how you fix what's going wrong. And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, here's the 50 percentile, right? This is right, this is wrong. This is what a person's doing wrong, this is what a person's doing right. All you have to do is push this across the line. Focus on what's going right and grow it. Everything grows in a human being. Everything. The human being grows. If you plant a seed in your garden, the vegetable grows, or the tree grows, or the plant grows. Everything works that way in the universe. Everything works, it starts small. Okay, so everything works that way. You have to grow things, including your subconscious capabilities, including changing your subconscious beliefs. You have to plant the seeds, okay? Then you have to care for the seeds. You have to water the seeds. What does that mean? Well, you have to do maintenance. Let me show you what the maintenance looks like. This is what maintenance to the subconscious looks like. I've been showing this so much, my page ripped off. There, look, see? Okay? So this is maintenance for the subconscious. That's what that is. Okay, these are affirmations. It's not journaling. Journaling is different. There's good journaling and there's bad journaling. Bad journaling is when you're writing about yesterday. What happened, the drama, reiterating drama. Okay, it's all going into your subconscious. Let it go. If you really want to learn from yesterday, just take mental notes of what went wrong. You'll know. And then make a list of things to address it, things to fix it. You have to own your mistakes. You have to take responsibility. Take responsibility. It's okay. First, number one, accept. Number two, identify. If you identify what went wrong, you can identify what will go right. Right? Why did this go wrong? Well, I did this. Okay, next time, do the other thing. You see? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ivana. If you know what you don't want, you know what you want. A lot of people don't know what they want. It's not wrong to not know what you want. It's not wrong. I'm just saying, it's the way it is. Some people will just go like this through life, like a rudderless boat. They'll just go like that. And some people, right? Some people lock on and they have that rudder on the boat and they go like this. They go like that, straight ahead. So with my high performance professionals is what I call them because they have big responsibilities. I take a look at what they do good and I focus on it and we grow that and we make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And the only thing that's important to a leader, the only thing that's important to a high performance professional is how they think of themselves in here. Because that will dictate the way that they operate. That will dictate the way that they treat people. That will dictate the way that they manage. That will dictate the way people perceive them. And that's all that's important. So how do you see yourself? You need to see yourself worthy, first of all. Worthy of whatever it is the goal is. That's part of the visualization process. You need to visualize yourself there. Many people have goals, but they can't see themselves there. So when they have a goal, but they can't see themselves there, they don't proceed. Why? Because it looks like fantasy to them. When I was young and I was presenting my ideas to people, right? Everybody was like, after a while, nobody listened anymore because it was too grandiose. I told people, well, I'm going to go to Honolulu and I'm going to go to Waikiki and I'm going to be an entertainer and I'm going to do this, and then, I was just telling Jay this morning, when I got to the entertainment industry, it wasn't what I thought. There was a bit of a mirage there, right? But at that point, I was already invested because at 12 years old, I had all these ideas. And now if I put my name in a search bar in any given, browser, everything I was thinking about at 12 is online. So what I'm really saying is I accomplished all of these things, right? But when I got there, it wasn't like I thought it would be. I had this music partner and we were working, on music, like everything in music that we could do in Hawaii, we did. And we got to a certain place, which was actually you could say the last big thing we did was a Waikiki show, right? Because that was the goal. And when we did the Waikiki show, a strange thing happened. Very strange thing happened. When you're anticipating something, when you're trying to think of, oh wow, I really want to do that because then when I do that, I'm gonna feel good and stuff. No, you gotta feel good first. Okay, you have to feel good first. here's what happened. When I got to the Waikiki show, okay, I was in a limousine on the way to the show, being interviewed by a radio station. And I thought, wow, I'm gonna have this feeling like I accomplished something, like I'm gonna, I finally made it, right? That kind of feeling. I thought I was gonna feel like that. And then what happened was I walked in the showroom after I was announced. I walked in the showroom. I was walking through the people and stuff. Everybody was shaking my hand, and I was greeting the crowd, playing with everyone, and I made my way up onto the stage, and I got up on the stage. And I took off my shoes because it's a Beach Boy custom, and I threw my shoes off stage, and I started performing my opening number. And I was looking out over the crowd. It was a record crowd. It was the biggest crowd that the Sheraton Waikiki ever had for anybody. We had the biggest opening night ever. There used to be a picture on my Facebook, but if you go in my Facebook account, if you're on my Facebook, you can go look in the folders. The pictures are there. So we broke the attendance record, right? And here I am finally on stage in my own show in Waikiki. I'm headlining in Waikiki. And I'm looking out over the crowd and I'm going, wow, this is just one big baby party. Where's the feeling? Like, where's the I made it feeling? You see, there was no I made it feeling at all. None at all. So in a way, right, there was a little disappointment. Like, where's the feeling? There was no feeling of accomplishment. It was just, okay, I just got to do this show. Excuse me. But there was no feeling of accomplishment, right? So, years later, right, my friend Chris, he used to own all the Jamba Juices and all the Jack in the Box stores in Hawaii, like everything. He owned all the franchises, right? And I sat down next to him, and he had his laptop. And he showed me what they were making in real time. So every time the cash register rang at a Jack in the Box, it would show up on his laptop. And we were sitting down having coffee, and he opens the laptop and he says, here, this is what we do. And he goes, this is how I come to work every morning on my laptop. And I see all his Jamba Juice and Jack in the Box stores. And I see that the money just keeps going like that. He was making an incredible amount of money. And he made an incredible amount of money a day. Of course there's overhead and everything, right? Of course he had expenses. But I looked over at him and I said, Chris, like, what does it feel to be at that level of success? And he told me? He said, oh man, I just go to work. And then it hit me. It's like, yeah, that's my Waikiki show. That's why there was no fanfare, internal fanfare. That's why there was no internal feel good. There was a little feel good, right? It's like, okay, I accomplished it, but I thought I was gonna feel something bigger than this, something better than this, right? No, it was just another job. It was just another show. It was the same feeling I got when I did a show at the neighborhood rec center on the stage in Waikiki. It was just a more expensive stage. It was just a more expensive show. That's all. So my point is, right? Some people get very successful, but never feel it. Some people are very successful and never feel it. Some of my high performance professionals, when I have to point out the good things that they do or the good parts about themselves, they've probably just thought about it for the first time. Because all they do is go to work. They go to work, they perform. They go to work, they perform. But when you call to attention the good things that people do, especially children, I've been working with children for 36 years as well. especially children. What you do is you inspire the human being. And when you inspire the human being, they reach new heights of performance, new heights of income, new heights of everything. Ingenuity, right? They invent things, they come up with stuff, they get good ideas, they get intuitive ideas. Because what you're doing is you're creating a greater awareness within them. And if you create a greater awareness in a human being, they start to settle down first. And then these things kick in. They start to kick in. And then they go, oh yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. So the things that, one of the biggest things that human beings need is inspiration. They need to know that, yes, I can do that too. That's all they need to do. They need to know they can do it. So if your environment is a negative one, where people are telling you, you can't do that, that's silly, that's crazy, that's, I'm here to tell you to trust your crazy ideas. Because if I didn't trust my crazy ideas, and they were crazy, if you want to see how crazy they are, go put my name in any browser. It's pretty crazy. But if I didn't trust my crazy ideas, I wouldn't have done anything. I would have been afraid to do anything. The how is always God's job. Whether you call it God, whether you call it source, whether you call it Allah, whether you call it Jesus Christ, whether you call it higher intelligence, infinite intelligence, higher self. The how is not your job. You were not designed like that. You were not designed to do the how. Everything comes to us through others. Human beings are social creatures. Now, this does not mean that you need the gatekeepers. Okay? Okay? This does not mean you need the system. You can function in the system. The Christians have a saying for that. They say, you can be in the world and not of the world. And that's what I call the physical matrix. You see me go like this all the time because so many people are bound to the physical matrix. You need to surrender. If you surrender within the physical matrix, everything comes to you. The physical matrix is progressing in such a way that one day things will be very much controlled. Very much controlled. But even under the most control, the spirit always wins over the body. Let's say it another way. The spiritual always wins over the physical. Always. Because you have the ability to bring things to you. You have the ability to attract. You have the ability to bring forth abundance into your world. And all it starts with is thinking. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. Change your thoughts, you change your beliefs. Change your beliefs, you change your paradigm automatically. You don't have to work at changing your paradigm. There are people out there that tell you, well, you need to change your paradigm and that will fix everything. It's even simpler than that. It starts with a thought, then the belief, then the paradigm, then the actions follow. Then the results follow the actions. Every action has a result. But if you're walking around like this, if you're walking around like this in fear, like this with anxiety, movement is impossible. If you're ground into the physical matrix like this, which is what the only thing you understand is the physical. If you only understand that, well, I need a college diploma to make money, I need a degree, I need several degrees, I need. I'm here to tell you, no, that's not true. Not true at all. Jesus Christ was trying to teach you that. Krishna was trying to teach you that. Gautama Buddha was trying to teach you that. And there's many others. When you surrender, or let's say it another way, when you let go and let God, let go and let Source, let go and let whoever you believe in. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. You can believe whatever you want. What really cracks me up and what really makes me laugh is when a certain believer, doesn't matter what they believe, when a certain believer believes that that's the only way. I have Christian friends like that. In their mind, in their world, nobody else gets into heaven, only Christians. And I have spiritual people, right, that say, okay, their belief, that's the way, this is the way. The soul is like this. There's a process for the soul. There's a process for, blah, 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 blah. There is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. That's it. Is God real? Yeah, God is real. The energy is very real. But God lives in here. The kingdom is in here. You own that power. You are a co-creator that can create anything. And when you are in the proper state of mind, when you are in the correct mindset, money comes, things come, people come, love comes, relationships come, jobs come, everything comes. But you cannot be attached to things. You cannot be attached to the physical matrix and only understand what happens in the physical matrix. I mean, you can. But if you do that, you're going to live the physical matrix life. You're going to be going to work from 9 to 5. Saturday, you're going to soccer. Sunday, you're going to church. Monday, you're back on the mouse wheel. And you keep going and keep producing and keep paying taxes and keep doing things. And certain things you need to do. You need to pay taxes. Everybody does. I do. We all do. But that mouse wheel keeps going until it cannot go anymore. And then you retire, you get the thank you party, get a gold watch, and take a couple of cruises and die. That's not my idea of a life. If it's your idea of a life, okay. Some people cannot see farther than that. Some people cannot see farther than the physical matrix. That's all they can see. But the veil has to lift. How do you allow the veil to lift? You have to let go. You have to observe. You have to become the observer. How do you become the observer? Step back from your thoughts as if they were clouds. Picture your thoughts as clouds. Oh, here comes a cloud. Okay, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to engage with it. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to allow it to go. I'm not going to choose it. I'm not going to choose that thought. Let it go. It takes 90 seconds. 90 seconds. Guess what follows a thought? Feeling. All that's necessary is that you marry intention with emotion to manifest something, for something to come into the physical world, for something to be born, for something to be achieved. Does it just pop in your driveway, brand new car, boom, there you go? Of course not. That's not how it works. It's a process. Everything has to grow. So now, if a thought brings the emotion, there's two clouds. There's that first cloud, which is a thought. Oops, not going to touch the cloud. Not going to touch that. I'm just going to let that thought go. Let it go. I go, oh, here comes the feeling. Here comes the feeling associated with that. No, I'm not going to touch that either. I don't want to feel that. Here it goes. Let it go. Okay? Now, it is gone. Now you see another cloud. You go, oh wow, that's a happy cloud. That's a good cloud. That's a good thought. That's, yeah, that I want to belong to that. Now you choose it. I am that. That's me. Now you've chosen the proper thought. Guess what happens? The proper emotion follows. And when the proper emotion follows, you experience the emotion. Happy thought, happy emotion. Fear and confidence cannot exist in the same place. Fear cannot exist where happiness is, and vice versa. You ever see these people who are not happy? They're not happy. No matter what, they're not happy. Some of them have a lot of money, but there's that little hole that needs to be filled. There's that little space that never gets filled. It's like a bottomless pit. No matter what they put into there, new car, and then another new car, and then a new Ferrari, and then another Ferrari, then another, It's different if you're experiencing toys because of your success. You always wanted to drive the Ferrari, now you're driving the Ferrari, then you're done. I have a friend like that. He leased the Ferrari for a while. Then he had an Alfa Romeo for a while. Then he had. And he went through, he's a very successful guy. He went through everything. Guess what he drives now? He drives a Honda. He's a multi-millionaire driving a Honda. My point is that everybody wants something different. If everybody wanted a Honda, there would be no Hondas. There's 8 billion people on the planet. Out of those 8 billion people, a lot of people are suffering. But it's not just poor people that suffer. There are very, very rich people that are suffering. Some very, very wealthy people that are suffering. Because they have the work mindset, but they don't have the personal mindset. It's different. You can have the work mindset and make money. It's a science. Read The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Read that. It will give you the formula. You know what the formula is? It's very simple. If you do your actions to the very best of your ability every single time and don't leave out any details. In other words, cover all your bases, cross all your T's and dot all your I's, and do it thoroughly, 100%, every single action, you will be rich. Do we do that? No. Why? Because we're human beings. Sometimes it's like, ugh, I don't want to put the dot on the I. I want to get past this. I want to get over this, right? We're all guilty of that. All of us, myself included. Never mind this. I just want to get on with it, right? But there's some very, very wealthy people that are miserable. And there's some very poor people that are absolutely happy and joyful. I always talk to the woman that I used to be engaged to back in the day. We were engaged for years. We were supposed to get married. And I talked to her. And the thing that we like to remember the most is when we had absolutely nothing. She has a family now. She has children in college. But we had absolutely nothing except happiness. We had happiness. And we didn't own anything. I didn't drive a nice car. I didn't have a car. I had a bus pass. Years before that, I slept on a sidewalk. I slept on a sidewalk in this movie theater in Chinatown, in Hawaii, where I am. It was amazing. Was I sitting there blaming God or angry at God or angry at everyone? No, I was happy. It was an adventure. I was 19 years old. It was an adventure. Every night was an adventure. Every night it was like being in a playground every night. No responsibility. Did we get into trouble? Yeah, we got into trouble. Of course we got into trouble. But then when things started to become, let's say, more mature, and I started a business, I started my first company, then I started my second company, then I started my third company. As soon as I started the first one, things started to get real. Responsibilities started to set in. Then what? Then you have to get serious. Why? Because if you're not serious, it'll go away. It will disappear. But you have to adopt a proper mindset. And sometimes there's that devil on the shoulder over here and the angel on the shoulder over here. And the devil on the shoulder over here goes, come on, let's just play. And the angel on this side says, no, you have to work. You have to be successful with this. You have to do this correctly. Sometimes responsibility is not a very friendly thing, but you have to do it. So, what's the moral to the story? The moral to the story is to adopt a mindset that's conducive to abundance. Abundance. Now, living in abundance is a double-edged sword of its own. If everything in your life is abundant, maybe the money's abundant, the bills are abundant, right? The troubles are abundant, the blessings are abundant. You see? Abundance. I was told once by a very wealthy man, he said, ambition is a sin. And I was young, and I was like, whoa, ambition is a sin? But I'm just getting started in the world, and I'm ambitious. I want to achieve. I want to do things. Ambition is a sin? I had to think about that. So you become a slave to your creations. What are you going to create? Are you going to create something that serves you? Something that serves others? I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to advise you on what to do. But if you're having problems, the root of it, the very root of it is your subconscious. How do you change your subconscious? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Start with one of these. Start writing. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident. Confident is a still centered inner calm. Anxiety cannot exist where confidence is. Someone who tells me that they're feeling anxiety, they're feeling anxious, and I ask them, are you confident? And they say, oh yeah, I'm confident, I just have anxiety. You see? The problem is not the anxiety, the problem is the awareness. They're not aware that you cannot be confident and have anxiety at the same time. They're not aware that the real problem is not the anxiety. It's the confidence. They're not clear in here. When you're confident, you have clarity. When you have clarity, decisions are easily made. And the good decisions will show themselves to you. They will rise. You'll have 4 or 5 options. The correct option will rise. It will rise to meet you, and you'll go, oh, that's the thing I should choose. Okay. And then you choose it. But having free will having that ability to choose, directly associated with the ego. And the ego always thinks it knows best, right? And you're driving down the street and you get that feeling you should make that right-hand turn. And you say, no, I think I'll go to the next light. And then you get stuck in the traffic jam, and what? What do you say? You say, I knew I should have turned back there, because you did know. Because you should have done that. You knew. But you did not trust your intuitive thought. That's the superconscious. That's the superconscious working with the subconscious. 95% of your actions, between 90 and 95% of your actions are subconscious. Your body has learned to do it better than you. You have memorized these actions. If you look at the tree, the roots of the tree are your subconscious actions, things that you have come to believe. Some of them are from when you were young. 0 to 7 years old, you're not even a part of consciousness yet. You're just being programmed. You're absorbing data. You're absorbing data. What have you been led to believe? What kind of radio station are you listening to? What kind of music are you listening to? What kind of television stations are you watching? What kind of feeds are you watching on your phone? This one right here. The more you see things here that you believe, that you know, your subconscious will show you more confirmation of, it will become beliefs. Then what? Well, then out of those beliefs, the roots of the tree forms the trunk of the tree, or your paradigm. The way you see the world, your perception, the way you see things. That affects your actions, the fruits of the tree. You will know them by their fruits, right? Because actions speak louder than words. You don't have to listen to what someone says, you watch what they do. You can see who they are if you know how to observe. You don't need to know their history. But those actions are based upon how they see the world. And how they see the world is dependent on their core beliefs, what they believe, at the roots of everything. So when you really want to change the results, what do? You change the roots. Change the subconscious beliefs. Start writing it. Start speaking it. Make it a part of your vocabulary. Change your language. Watch what you put after the letter I. I can't do that. I'm not so good at this. Yeah, I'm not good at bowling. I suck at bowling. Watch what you say. You're pronouncing it into your subconscious. Watch what you say to others. Because when you speak to others, your subconscious doesn't know if you're speaking to somebody else or if you're speaking to yourself. And then you wonder why you have low self-esteem. If you're attacking someone verbally, your subconscious doesn't know if you're attacking them or if you're attacking you. And pretty soon you're not feeling it anymore. Pretty soon you're in a rut. Pretty soon you're stuck. Pretty soon you have problems. Pretty soon you don't think very much of yourself. Pretty soon others don't think very much of you. Why? Because you don't think very much of you. Then what happens? Well, then you're not much, are you? You're not much. Can you change it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Those 4 pillars applied to any one thing assure success. You cannot not fail. And I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just here to teach you, here to show you. It's worked for everything I've ever done. Everything. It's working for my life coaching now. Does that mean your bank account fills up with millions of dollars overnight? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean that at all. There's two types of wealth. And hopefully you can choose the abundance mindset type of wealth. What am I talking about? Well, the first kind of wealth, you can be a squirrel. You can save up all your nuts, put them all in the bank, put them all in the stock market, all of that. I saw in 2008, I saw people lose their life savings like that. In the blink of an eye, they lost their retirement. They lost their life savings. They lost everything. Their 401k, they lost everything. And they had to start from zero in 2008. And right now they don't have half of what they had then. Wealthy people can become poor like that. In the blink of an eye, it can change. All it takes is one crash. That's it. It's done. So what about all those savings? Doesn't mean much. What about all that investing? Well, if it's good, it's good. If it's there, it's there. Even that goes away, right? We saw that earlier this year. The stock market just went like that and came back up again. So are you going to depend on that kind of wealth? Well, you could. You could depend on your job, and you could, overwork and, save money, and that's what people teach you in the commercial world, in commerce, in the business world. They teach you that. Oh, work hard, save money. Okay, that works for some people. Or you could do it the way I do it. When I want something, it comes to me. Because I use affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Now, the only exception with this process is if you're, say, wishing for a person and they don't like you. Because they have free will. It works on everything else. There's so many times where I wrote affirmations about people and they show up, and sometimes I remember this one girl, it was like 2 months. It was like heaven. It was like a James Bond movie, actually. And then it was over, and it went as fast as it came. And I was like, wow, that was amazing. That was an amazing experience. Okay, but let me show you again. Okay, this is how you ask. This is one way to ask. The other way to ask is your voice. So do your affirmations. Do your vocalization. One part of your vocalization is to speak the dream. When you speak it, your subconscious is listening. When you speak it over and over and over again, your subconscious hears you and starts supporting it. It starts supporting that main idea, like when you write a topic sentence and then you write supportive sentences to support the topic sentence, it does it the same way. And then what does a superconscious do? It starts giving you intuitive thought pertaining to that subject in the subconscious. And the subconscious learns in repetition. And the subconscious will repeat. And every time you need something, you just need to ask, believe, and receive. And if you're writing things into your subconscious regularly, the belief is no problem. And anytime you want something, it just shows up. Anyway, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're here at from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. every day, 7 days a week, Hawaii time. Okay, our website is hereforyourlifecoaching.com. We change the lives of professionals for a living, and what we do for everyday people like you guys, like we're giving this to you for free. If you need to email me, junior@hereforyourlifecoaching.com. I will answer any of your questions. We have gifts. Anybody watching gets a copy of my book, The Universal Law of Attraction and Singing. This is the book. We'll give a PDF version to you. Just send me your email on whatever platform you're on. We're on 7 platforms right now. We'd like to say goodbye to our international